Welcome to the Contractors Secret Weapon Radio Podcast, the show dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, and others in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over their competition. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas that can take your business to the next level and beyond. And now, broadcasting from the Contractors Secret Weapon Studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dave Negri.
Okay, hey, welcome to podcast number, I don't know which one it is.
I think we're like 301 now.
I know. And this is Dave Negri?
As if I get to take any credit for like the first 300, right?
Well, it's first 295, I think.
We're all you.
Yeah, we're all me. And some of them were just in the beginning. But I've been the longest one, so that doesn't mean anything. I've just been whatever you want to call it.
No, well, okay, 300 went out. Well, no, 299 went out today. So I don't know what number we're up to because I know we got a couple in the queue. I was trying to look it up real quick. So maybe we are 301, maybe we're 302. I don't know where we're at. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. This is our special podcast for the 300th one we missed. Hey, at least we can have fun at this.
That's it. Well, let me take a minute and introduce myself. Since Dave already introduced himself, this is Pete Mitchell, and I'll be your co-captain on our flight today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to tip your waiter. So, what's our topic today?
Our topic is, what did we say it was?
How are we going to word this?
I don't know.
Why you keep asking us for a new idea when you haven't implemented the ones that we already gave you?
Right. So this would be the end of the podcast series. No, we're just kidding. But we're not kidding about that. You know, a lot of people ask us, well, what should I do? And we say, well, do this. Well, should I do anything else? Well, would you say when we started? My clients asked me that, and I said, well, you haven't done what I told you to do the first time.
I can't tell you how many times that happens to me where someone will be like I got this one client. She's been a client of mine for, I don't know now, maybe 3.5, 4 years, something like that. And she used to always call me up, and she's trying to grow her business. And so we'd have our weekly call, and she'd be like, okay, what do I need to be working on this week? And I'm not kidding. It's normal when I'm working with a business owner. I tell them, okay, on this next week, here's what I need you to do. And it could be anything. It could be, like in her case, it was writing an email or something like that. And, the next week we get back together and it's not done because life gets in the way. I get that, right? You're business owners. I'm a business owner. Life gets in the way. Okay, great. Well, let's make sure it gets done this next week because we know it's already a week late. We get back to the next week. Oh, I still haven't done it yet. Oh, I still haven't, week after week after week.
And she's paying you.
And she's paying me. And by the way,
you to make
the credit card always goes through.
Things.
Yeah, the credit card always goes through.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm getting paid. You're not implementing, but I'm getting my money. And so literally this one time we're on the phone and she was like, she calls me up in a panic. Who knows what happened with one of her calls. Wow.
That's my alarm. It decided to go off again.
That was loud. Anyway, so she's like, okay, what should I be working on right now? And I'm like, well, I still need the email. And I think I wanted a series of emails from her. I'm still looking for the series of emails. And then she goes, okay. And then once I get that done, what else? And I'm like, serious? Why do you keep asking me for a new idea? We haven't even implemented the one that I've been trying to get you to do for months. And I think we finally gave up. Literally about 7 months later, I was like, okay, she's never going to write these emails. Did
you end up writing for her?
No, I don't write emails. That's extra money. Well, that's
what I mean. Did you say, well, listen, I'll write your emails.
You got to understand, for me, that's got to be one of the most painful things in the world. I do not like writing. I write because I have to write. If I had to write, if people were like, look, Pete, the only way you can make it in business today is a blog, I'd be like, well, screw it. I'm going to work at McDonald's then because I'm not writing.
Oh, I'm the same way about phone calls. So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I hate phone calls. That's why on my voicemail says I'll call you back at 1 and 5. So at least it forces me to not be a liar.
Right. And then you just have to call them back during those certain hours.
Yeah, not call them back, yeah. Call them back those certain hours. And there's some other strategic things, I do reason for doing that.
Yeah.
But mainly it's because I don't like phone calls.
Well, and see, this is what I call playing to your strengths, and we've probably talked about it on this podcast. You just got to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Like, for me, I'm good at what's called copywriting, which is really specifically writing specific copy so that it converts someone either into a lead or a sale, depending on what you're trying to do. I'm really good at it. However, it drains all of me emotionally to write that well. And so I don't like doing it because I don't like being that drained. What I do love, I love podcasting. Like you and I, we jump on the podcast. We talk for about 30 seconds. What are we talking about this week? I'm like, cool, let's do it. Because you and I can talk about what we do till the cows come home, and it doesn't require us to do anything extra because we live this. Like we live client acquisition, lead acquisition. We know that stuff down. And so I play to my strength. I know I'm good at podcasting, so I've got several different podcasts, this being one of the newer ones that I was able to join you on. And that's what I like doing. But I don't like writing. I don't like any of that. But it's like, and what brought this up, guys, by the way, a great person reached out to us. They went to the website, Contractors Secret Weapon. We've got a text number on the site. We've got a free report that you can get by texting to get it. It's also in the show notes. So just look in the show notes if you want to know what's the keyword and what's the phone number. But we've also got a number up there where you could just like text us your questions. And so this one person reached out to us and they said, hey, just grabbed your number from the website. I have a computer repair business, on-site desktop support. I'd like to make business with insurance companies. How can I do that? How can I approach these companies? And so I was sharing with you, Dave, and I'm like, and I think you worded it best. You go, well, he just has to listen to the last 5 episodes we did. Because it's like, that's how you do it. Just, implement the stuff we've been telling you. Get your free reports together. I'm a huge, huge fan of joint ventures, right? Somebody else already has your ideal client. And then, of course, you can do events. I mean, there's so many things you can do to get business to make your life easy. You really just have to play to your strengths and go, okay, what do I enjoy doing? What can I see myself doing consistently? And start adding that into your business, right? I mean, isn't that a good place to start?
Yeah. And if you've got no matter who you are, if you don't have the particular customer you want, like you said, find out who you know that has client base that you can piggyback off of, or a referral. Referrals are wonderful.
Dave, let me ask you something. Over your career, and I realize it's a long time to think about because you've been in business for a while. How many times would you say a competitor has approached you and said, Dave, any business that you turn down because you're too busy, I want you to send it my way, and I'll be happy to pay you on that? How many times has that happened over your career?
None. Usually I got to go looking for them.
Exactly. You have to go looking for someone. And I mean, would that have at all impressed you? I mean, if you had extra business, would you have been like, well, dude, this guy's actually reaching out to me?
Yeah, in a heartbeat. Boy, I'd put him down and I'd go, dude, he'd be the one. He'd be the one I'd call all the time.
And see, that's the thing. Like, a lot of times we look at our competition and we're like, oh, okay, there's all this competition out there. Well, some of them, they are technically competition, but they can also be a great lead source for you because they're too busy or they don't want certain work. Like I was watching a video of a pastor that I work with, and he's doing some Amazon business, where they like sell books on Amazon. And I'm watching this video, excuse me, guys, and he's It's something, and believe me, guys, I don't know the business at all. I was actually quite fascinated. That's why I was watching the video. But they like go to the library book sales, and they'll like buy certain books, and then they turn around and they sell those books on Amazon. And I guess there's money to be made there doing that stuff. And
that sounds
so
like a lot of work.
I know, right? Because they're like making $5 a book, and I'm like, dude, I can't even fathom like backing my car out of the driveway for less than $5,000, let alone $5. And so, so he's talking to someone else who he's meeting at this library book sale, and that guy is like, yeah, I won't even buy a book if I'm not going to make at least $15 on it. And he's like, oh, dude, well, give me all your throwaways, because I'll make $5 a book. I don't mind doing that. And I'm thinking, yeah, just start approaching those guys. You're willing to do the work that they're not willing to do. Take it. Totally
and
take it.
Always, especially, you get into bigger guys that are doing bigger businesses, and they're not going to do sometimes maybe if you're just starting business or you have a certain threshold of, type of business you do. Go to the big guys. Go to the guys that got, that is, they're not even your competition because they're so far ahead of you.
Yep.
They go to them and say, hey, whatever you don't want as far as this particular area, send it my way. Now, I know a guy that has, he's in the Greek community, which here is, they're all bridge painters. And they make mega bucks. So what he did, he went into the painting business and he went to these guys and he says, listen, I'll take the business that you don't want to do. Because they get, these, like, they'll get a lighthouse. I don't want to paint a lighthouse. Well, he'll paint a lighthouse.
Right.
He'll make $200,000.
Well,
these other guys, that would be nothing to them. I'm not going to waste my time for $200,000.
Well, and think about it like this. Let's say you're in the residential business, meaning whether that's painting, roof cleaning, power washing, whatever it is. Let's say you primarily deal with residential property. I say a great strategy, besides going to some of the bigger competitors you have that deal with residential property, go to the commercial property guys.
Yeah.
Because they get approached a lot by people who are like, hey, you know what? You did a great, painting job on our office building. I also need my house painted. Do you do that? And usually most of the time they go, well, no, we only do commercial buildings, right. And, we're backed up for 3 months.
Yeah.
And be the guy that they refer the business to. I mean, that's like a natural fit. Or if you're in a commercial, go to the residential guys, because a lot of them don't have the confidence to do commercial work because they're like, oh, it's
they don't
different.
Have pocketbooks either.
Yeah. So I mean,
it can work out. I mean, it's just you have to think differently. That's all it is. You just can't think about, well, this is all I do. No, whatever you don't want to do, give to somebody else, and then find out whatever somebody else doesn't want to do and let them give it to you. It's a natural progression of passing business along. And a lot of times your competitor, per se, can be one of your best lead sources. Because I know there's one commercial painter in town. He does one certain type of commercial building. That's all he does. Very profitable. Because he knows the ins and outs, and all of his teams know the ins and outs of this business. So if you've got a smart commercial building, a lot of times he won't take it. So he'll find someone else to do it. So just think differently. I don't want the business you're going after. I want the business that you don't want, that people are giving to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And pay them for it.
Because
thank you. I get a lot of referrals from roof salesmen from a lot of different companies. I mean, I give them from anywhere from $50 to $100 each time they refer me. I said, go out to dinner. I really appreciate you, trusting me enough with your customer to refer them to me.
Well, and the thing to look at there too is it always costs you to acquire new business.
Sure.
It's going to cost you one way or the other. If someone refers it to you, or if you run an ad, or if it's part of your newsletter. I mean, business costs money to acquire. So what do you care if that money that you would have spent on an ad is instead you're paying it to somebody who's going to be even more motivated to give you another referral because they're like, wow, dude, this guy actually gives me money.
And it's a 90% close.
Yeah. Easiest business you ever
call you, come give me a price and come clean my roof. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, when I look at, like, the first thing to always look at is, well, I should go back to one of our first podcasts that you and I did together, like 290, 291, something like that. You know, I basically talk about there's 5 groups of people that you can target. The first are your current clients. So if you're like, hey, I want to get in with insurance companies, it sounds to me like you're not in with insurance companies. So that group's out. Second group you look at are your past clients. Do you have any past clients that you're ideal client that you can reach out to? Other insurance companies that you've worked with. If there is, great, reach out to them. If you reach out to them, they're like, well, we don't need any business. Great. Do you know of any other insurance companies that I should be reaching out to? Because they have associations that they go to. I know from being in the insurance industry for years, they have associations that they go to. They got meetings. They're constantly meeting people. They got incentive trips. They're meeting people left and right who are your ideal client. Third group are your prospects. So they know who you are, but you guys haven't done business together. The fourth group, which is the one I always tell everyone to go to first before you go to the cold market, and that is the joint venture partner, which is what you and I are talking about. Someone else already has your ideal client. Let's figure out who they are. Maybe they're a quote-unquote competitor. Maybe they're just someone who services your same client. It could be, so many different people that it could be. And then we finally look at the cold market. That's finally the last group that you want to go to, but that's usually the first place everyone wants to go. How do I run ads? How do I?
And it's the hardest one.
It's the hardest one to crack.
And most expensive.
It's the last one to go to. Yeah. Should not be where your focus is at all. Go for the easy money.
I think deep down, I think most people are afraid to go back to the customers. They're afraid to ask people for help. So they'd rather spend the extra money and work harder and do stuff like that.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think you're absolutely right. Many times they're afraid to go back to past clients, mainly because they've never approached them. So they're looking at someone going, I haven't approached this person in 5 years, and now I'm going to go back to them and ask for a referral. That just sounds self-serving, and it does. And that's the reason why, if you remember when we did Pete's Secret Sauce episode,
right?
We talk about the pink elephant letter.
Pink elephant, yeah.
If you haven't gone back to them, send them the pink elephant letter. Go back and listen to that episode. And that's how you can basically grease the wheels so you can approach those people. Yeah. But I also think a lot of times we just, we don't even have a database, right? We're like, I got this person in my cell phone. Maybe I did a power washing for them and they're in my cell phone and, well, I don't even know who's all there. And that's why, like, for me, for those of you who've been listening to this podcast, the ones that Dave and I have been doing together the last 10 or so episodes, I talk about a program that I had built specifically for me, and it's called SMS Conversations. Cha-ching. It's a texting platform, and it does what we call ringless voicemail or slide voicemail. But I actually built into that system, like, ways that you can actually ask for referrals that are very non-threatening and very easy just to send out to people. And one of the things that I have people do when they're first coming to me is I go, first of all, you don't want to be texting just anybody. Like, you want to text past clients. So I actually have them download all of their contacts right out of their phone. And there's a couple of different apps that do it, depending on if you're on an Android or an iPhone. And it gives you a nice little Excel spreadsheet, or a CSV spreadsheet, rather.
Sweet.
And you've got their name, their cell phone. And then I go, all right, now, spend the next few days, go through that list, because a lot of us have hundreds or even thousands of numbers in our phones. And you need to pick out people who you're like, oh, this guy was a jerk. Oh, I don't even remember this guy. I maybe I met this person at a lunch somewhere, right? You don't even know who half of them are. Take out all those people. And the ones that you're like, okay, these are people I've serviced in the past. Do the pink elephant letter. And then a week later, you could send them that text message. It's already built into the system because you're going to have their numbers. You already downloaded it, and boom, start getting referrals. So easy to do this, guys. So easy to break into these markets. It just takes thinking outside of the box. And I think that's what most people don't want to do is they look around at what everyone else is doing and they go, that must be the way to get clients. Right.
But so here's a test. Okay. If you want to find out if it's working, call that person on that ad and say, hey, my name's Bob and I have if it's your competitor, tell them you have a different business. You're just wondering, you're checking out this company you might want to do business with as far as advertising. Has their ads helped your business? And I will guarantee you one of two things. They'll go, I have no clue, because they're not using tracking numbers. Or I think it might work, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So go cha-ching again to SMS conversations, because you can get a number that's a tracking number that you can do a voicemail to and add it to your website or to each piece of mail you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got two different ones on my website, and then I've got one texting message for an ad, and then I'm using for another one I did for the study we're doing at church. So they want to find out more information, it just text that number and we'll send them everything.
Yeah. You actually that's such a great idea. And it's one of those things that it's actually one of the reasons that I love doing podcasts like this, because it reminds you of the things that you used to do or you should be doing. And like what you just hit on right there, that's one of those things that, how many times have I heard that? I've told people that, but man, I haven't told someone that in a long time. Call on your competition's ads and find out if they're working. Just ask them, hey, is it working for you advertising in the Valpak? Is it working for you advertising in the Register? Is it working for you? Are you getting many leads? And what I remember people used to say to me is, oh, well, I can tell when I run the ad, I seem to get more phone calls. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't mean anything. Right? Because that could be they found your website. It does not necessarily mean anything that it was because of the ad. And it's kind of funny because we used to make the joke that when you're selling advertising, you never wanted someone to use tracking phone numbers. Because if you're selling the ad space, Valpak, newspaper, magazine, whatever, you don't want someone to know if it's working or not. Because more often than not, their ad is so bad, it wouldn't pull. Like most of the time they don't even know it works.
Yeah.
Well. But
and the funny part is, you and I can look at an ad and tell automatically whether it pulls or not.
Because you and I understand what works.
Or understand what they're doing. And I know that the ads that run discounts, they'll get more calls, but not necessarily more business.
And not necessarily the clients you want.
Yes. That's why I don't run, I never run a discount to get business. I will give discounts to my customers, as like a reward or something like that for doing business with me after they've done business with me, but never give anybody a discount.
Yeah.
To get business.
It's funny. I was just having lunch with a buddy of mine who's another marketing guy, and he was telling me about a client he was working with, and this guy, basically, he helps people buy real estate for the purpose of investing, doing predominantly buy and hold and just rent out properties. That whole model. And so he had a headline on all of his advertisements, and it was something along the lines of how to plan for retirement without saving money.
Ooh.
And my buddy just looks at him and goes, I bet you anything you're getting a lot of people who have no money, aren't you?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah.
That's a nice ad, but you're going to get people.
But you're getting the wrong people. Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, that's not what you want. Like you're going to get people like, oh, I can plan for retirement without spending any money. Oh, how do I do that? But that's because they don't have any money to spend. That's not actually who you want as a client. So you kind of got to, look at all this stuff and understand. But you and I can look at that and we can see that and we can go, okay, I get why you're getting responses. And I also get why you're getting no business off of those responses.
Yeah. We want to get you the correct responses.
Yeah. And it's not all about number of leads. It's about customer acquisition cost. Like, what do you spend to get a customer and what do you make on the customer? Like, that's what matters. Not, oh, look, this ad over here got me 500 calls. So what if 499 of them were just horrible time wasters?
Yeah, you want self-qualifying. You want those ads to qualify the people or disqualify them, actually. Yeah. Disqualify the ones that you don't want to do business with.
Yeah. Yeah, as a mentor of both yours and mine has said, great marketing repels as much as it attracts.
Yeah.
You want to repel the wrong clients and attract the right clients. And that is one of the hardest things to get your mind around in any business.
Yeah, because your goal, you think your goal is to do a lot of business and make a lot of money.
Which it is to do a lot of business and make a lot of money, sure.
Yeah, but it's
how you get there is the tricky part. Everyone thinks it means more clients, more work. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, yeah. So here's the thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. Is, because that I'm looking at starting another business, and the business that I'm looking at completely goes against everything that I do. It's the whole business is revolved around getting the best price for the customer, for the product. In the insurance business, it's all about the best price. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that.
Right. Yeah.
I know it works, but I'm just saying it's diametrically opposed to everything that I do now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you go into that type of business, is you have to realize you live by the price, you die by the price. Yeah. And so the longevity of the business is you have to go into that business knowing what your exit strategy is. Because, to put it in perspective, Amazon is a great example. Amazon's whole model when they first got started was all about price, right? We're gonna beat the competition by being the lowest price on books. And then it was basically the lowest price on pretty much any product. And now it's like even services. I mean, I bought my garage door opener off of them. And the next thing I know, they're offering me to have someone come out and install it. And, they gave me all the prices. Crazy, they happen to get enough money and funding. I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to play that game long enough to where they've literally closed out whole businesses. I mean, does anybody really want to start an independent grocery store in this market? Like, you're getting killed. You're getting killed by Amazon and now Amazon Prime Fresh or whatever it's called, where they're going to deliver to your house your groceries. So you live by it, you die by it. Now, Amazon, because they're so big, publicly traded, they've basically already done their exit strategy. I know Jeff Bezos, he's got his stock where you have to disclose when you're basically an executive, your planned stock sales. And I think every month he's selling his stock. And I several times it's been over $1 billion in stock that he's been selling. Ouch. So in his mind, he's like, well, I already won, right? I'm in the sell off, let everyone else take over this thing. I'm selling it off. I'm taking my cash and running for the hills. What are the odds?
He's seeing the handwriting on the wall.
Well, I think the other thing too is he's done, right? He's let someone else deal with it.
Done, but it's to the point where I read a lot of articles of that they're just the government is at its wits' ends because they allowed Amazon to get so big they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's wow. It's a beast. There are so many strip malls by my house in Southern California, of all places, that are closing up, going out of business. People just don't go to the stores like they used to. I mean, I pretty much do all of my clothes shopping on Amazon or...
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Or I have a tailor for if I need a suit, the tailor will come to me. And the tailor, of course, like the last time I bought, some suits and shirts, I don't remember exactly what I paid, but I know it was over $4,000. So his business model is I come to you. Hey, if you're going to give me $4,000 to make some suits, I'd go to you too, right? That would be my model. So you got Sears who's going out of business.
He's learned how to go around some of the other people.
Exactly.
And you have to be smart, in any business to go around the status quo. You got to beat the status quo.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, no matter what business you're in, like we're talking about the insurance business, but it's getting past the commodity part of it.
Yep. How
do you get past the commodity part of it?
Yeah.
And that's really the challenge in most businesses is, okay, so I'm whether I'm painting or I'm an electrician, I have X amount of dollars, or I'm paying X for X amount of people. I got to run X amount of profit. So my price is going to be X. Next electrician is going to be X. And everyone says, well, why is he more expensive than you, or why are you more expensive than him? It is because he has higher overhead, or he may not, and he just wants to make more money, and he's getting away with whatever the case can be. But in order to do that, he has to be better. Or appear to be better.
Yeah.
So, like, I know of one, what was it? I forget what business it was. I think it was an AC business. And he wanted to be in the high-end markets. So what he did, he started advertising in all the magazines that went to the high-end markets.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked.
Nice.
It's got him to where he needed to be, but and all that there's so much you have to do to get into that market.
Yeah.
Best way is referral or piggyback off somebody else, and then you're in. Either way, you have to you've got to buy your way in.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, Friday, one of my clients was interviewing one of her clients, and she's a real estate coach, and one of her clients is a guy by the name of Ernie Carswell. Ernie Carswell, his business is in Beverly Hills, and he's had a business in New York, and he's also been in Dallas, and so basically has to start all over again. So when he started all over again in Beverly Hills, he has no clients. He has no nothing. He's literally starting out from the bottom floor.
What does he do?
Well, his broker says to him, look, here's what you need to do. You need to find 10 properties that you really like, whether it's because of the looks, the location, whatever it is. And I want you to find out everything there is to know about these properties. I want you to talk to the agents. I want you to basically interview the agents. What is really good about this property? Find out everything you can and become the expert. And then see how can you seek to add value to the listing agent. Because he's not going to be the listing agent, right? I mean, they're already listed by someone. He's going to hopefully find a buyer. Right. And that's how he started it. And now he's one of the premier real estate agents in Beverly Hills. His clients are Fergie and Katy Perry. He's the guy who listed the Brady Bunch house that sold for, I think, $2 million over asking.
Oh, wow.
And it all started with, okay, well then, I'm going to pick these 10 properties. And like one of the properties I remember hearing the story was Barbara Streisand's property, and she had literally a gold-plated toilet. Like the seat was gold-plated. And so he like took a picture of it, and he's at like a party, and he's telling all these stories of these homes that he gets to see, and he's like, yeah, look, here's Barbara Streisand's gold-plated toilet, right? and everyone just assumed it was his listing. He never said it was his listing. He was never right. misleading anyone. But that's how he ended up. Then people are like, well, you're the expert. You know all these properties here in the area. I want you to list my house.
Wow.
And it was all from that, hey, I'm going to learn what I can, but I'm also going to become a value to these other agents. And, even get some of the hand-me-downs. Oh, hey, I can't take this. You take this property. And now he's literally one of the top agents in the world, and certainly in Beverly Hills. In fact, all the guys who are on the TV shows, the $1 Million Listings, he knows them all. And he's like, all that stuff is scripted, guys. He's like, it's not, they're my friends. This is a scripted show because in real life, it's all confidential, and they couldn't show this stuff that they're showing. And
Right.
and so, like, he wouldn't even talk about any of his clients. He's just like, look, I can't say anything because I'm under confidentiality agreements. If the press already has found out about it, then I don't mind. The press has already talked about it. And but that's how he did it, just by finding some properties, knowing everything he could about them, and then interviewing the agents, learning everything they could, and then talking to people about it. I mean, it was a really simple strategy.
That's a sweet deal. Yeah, it's not hard. It's just I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our day-to-day stuff that we can't see actually where we're going.
Yeah.
Except to the next problem.
Yeah.
And we actually, if we're going to grow our businesses, we need to, it's the age-old thing. You need to work on your business and not in your business. And it's so true. Even if you break it down to an hour, just an hour a day to begin with. Go somewhere. That's what like my wife and my daughter. I say, you guys need to get together. I know. We don't have time. I say, no. You need to do it. I know, but we don't have time. I'm not going to fight it.
Yeah. That's it. Well, cool. Well,
I think we covered that.
I think
that
we
guy's
did.
question.
I think we did. So, computer guy, go back to our episodes and re-listen to them. There's some gold in them, our hills. Just take it and start
Pete's
implementing
secret
it.
sauce.
That's it, right? I
Pete's
love that
secret
one.
sauce, yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool deal, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll be back next week with another and even better episode than this week. So, take care,
Yes, we
everybody.
will. Awesome. See you guys later.